This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Leeds United against Crystal Palace. I'll run you through the two teams as Simon Hooper gets ready to get proceedings underway. Leeds United all in white, kicking from left to right as we see from our commentary position. And Crystal Palace, the red and blue striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. And it is Crystal Palace who get us underway with Ebery Eze. Leeds United unchanged from the win over Nottingham Forest. Meslier in goal, Ayling, Koch, Strauch, Firpo, Roker, McKennie, Sinistera, Aronson, Harrison and Bamford. And for Crystal Palace, a Premier League debut for Sam Johnston in goal. Ward, Anderson, Gay, Mitchell, Schlupp, Decore, Eze are the midfielders. Jordan Ayew comes in for the injured Wilfred Zaha. Odsonne Edouard and Michael Olise complete the front three. And Crystal Palace trying to pin Leeds United back in their own half. Cleared on this near side by Jack Harrison. It's a slightly awkward one for Strauch, who's forced to put his foot through it from the edge of his own penalty area over the halfway line, picked up by Joachim Andersen, and the offside flag is up against Michael Olise.
Don't know if this is going to settle down. The referee getting that whistle in. It's been frantic start to this game. Obviously the front three. Olise going down the right hand side. Ayew taking that left position, propping Edouard in that 9 for Crystal Palace. And just looking at the start of the game, they're a slightly higher line, a bit more advanced than you'd expect from Roy Hodgson. Having Anderson and Guay who've got a little bit more sort of agility to go and get tight, to go and leave that space in 1v1s that they're comfortable in that centre-back position, so might press a touch higher.
Bamford on the half turn, plays it out to this near side, the left to Aronson, and now Harrison back to Luke Ayling, who delivers, and it's well charged down by Jeffrey Schlupp. Leeds United midway inside the Palace half, early cross in by Ayling. Oh, not the greatest of clearances, it's Sinistera! What a chance! It dropped to him very nicely, and he stroked it just wide of Sam Johnston's far post.
Well, they tried to put the ball in from any sort of angle, but it was just a sliced clearance. It was into Sinistera on that left foot, and you're fancying him to hit the target. He strikes really well, but he just drags it wide, and big opportunity. It was a mistake from Palace. It was a let off. Just a big chance early on in the game, and he's got to hit the target.
Perhaps he wasn't expecting it, but he looked like he set himself pretty well there, just couldn't hit the target. Scored the winner against Forest on Tuesday night. A real let-off for Crystal Palace, just a bit of a lack of concentration. But as you mentioned, Michael, it's interesting to see what Palace do, because, as you mentioned, they had 31 shots against Leicester. It was very much unlike a typical Roy Hodgson team. Aronson trying to turn away from the challenge, but it's a good clean tackle and Palace clear it away. I just wondered if that was more an indictment of Leicester City and the state they're in at the moment.
I think that's part of it for sure, but you've got to give credit where credit's due to change in such a big way from not having any real shots or any sort of momentum the weeks previous. But I think Roy Hodgson, by all accounts, was very, very complimentary in the dressing room afterwards to all of those players.
Here's Jack Harrison. This week signed a new 5-year deal. Funny how football works. He was allegedly going to join Leicester City on deadline day, and now he's staying for quite some time. Jeffrey Schlupp trying to make his way through 2 Leeds United players, and has brought down a free kick for Palace just inside the Leeds United half here. Leeds United 0, Crystal Palace 0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. And don't forget, we have full match commentary from Anfield later on. 4:30 kickoff. Liverpool against Arsenal as the Gunners try and regain their 8-point lead. Here, Joachim Andersen tries to take the free kick from a position that Simon Hooper is not happy with inside the centre circle. Eventually play does restart. Goalless here. Crystal Palace in possession with Tyreek Mitchell on this near side, the left. They're just playing it around the back, and Palace, as we mentioned in the build-up, with these very creative front players. They're missing Wilfred Zaha though. It'll be interesting to see how they cope without him. Their win percentage is significantly lower without him in the side.
Yeah, he's a big miss, isn't he? You know what he brings. And I'm as well, if I'm Leeds United, I'm the defenders, I'm thinking, yeah, that's nice that he's not playing because of the threat that he brings, but I believe Edouard's been doing well. The manager was impressed with him as well, how he led the line, and it's advantage Leeds United so far in this game. They've got a little bit more momentum, but you do feel in the couple of opportunities Palace have had, they've tried to run forward, they've tried to gain an advantage, get into better positions. They're not just going to play slow.
Jordan Ayew with a frustrated face, just ran it out of play, had a chance there to advance down this near side, the left. Leeds United playing from left to right at Ellen Road. That's a cute little pass forward from Weston McKennie, and a big switch from Jack Harrison over to the far side, but well read by Joel Ward, the Palace right back. But it's back with Sinistera, who missed that big chance earlier on, into Junior Firpo, to the byline, pulls it back. Fantastic save from Johnston to deny Brendan Aronson another really good opportunity, which Leeds haven't taken.
Oh, it was a great move, was it, down that left-hand side, and they just keep coming.
Aronson, right side the penalty area, pops it off to Harrison, again to the byline, Luke Ayling. Johnston gets a good glove to it. Palace under significant pressure here, but that's a lovely touch from Eze. The second one let him down though, and Leeds United, relentless pressure, another effort, beaten away by Sam Johnston. It's going to be picked up on the far side, the left, by Junior Firpo. Plays it down the line for Sinistera. Those two linking up well. Cross to the back post, way too much, and that it bounces out of play. It is all Leeds United.
Oh, the atmosphere's increased. Brilliant tempo from Leeds United down that left. Firpo just with the overlap, pulls the ball back, and there's Aronson. Just tries to get his flick away, it just diverts away from goal, but they keep the pressure on, keep moving it around, and Sinistera with his right, it's ambitious, a long way out. But again, you know, that tempo, that energy, supporters are loving this type of start from Leeds United.
Palace hanging in there at the moment. 7 minutes played. Leeds United 0, Crystal Palace 0 here at Ellen Road. But two huge chances for Leeds United to take the lead. Robin Cox sends it forward, right-footed, nodded back towards the Leeds United half by Joachim Andersen. Patrick Bamford trying to take it under his spell. A bit scrappy in the midfield, nodded forward by Pascal Struijk. And now here's Patrick Bamford, takes aim, very far out, left-footed, and Sam Johnston didn't really look troubled there.
We've talked about, obviously, Crystal Palace getting shots away, but straight away I think Leeds United must have got the memo. It was a long range that, wasn't it? Bamford tries to take it on, he tries to go for like that wobbler where the ball moves, it just stays out to that right-hand side, doesn't come back at all, but great pressure. Crystal Palace now wanting to play out where possible. The press is coming fast.
Bamford trying to close down Joachim Andersen, who's forced a bit wide and sends a pretty aimless ball upfield, but Edouard will give chase and forces Struijk to make the clearance over to the far side. Throw into Crystal Palace, which will be left for Joel Ward, the veterans of this Crystal Palace team. It's picked up here by Michael Elise.
I am getting old when you say Joel Ward's a veteran. Coming through at Portsmouth, wonderful attitude, one of the best you'll ever see as a youngster. If you ever want to do well in this game, you follow his footsteps, that's for sure. Exemplary captain now. Roy Hodgson knows him very, very well. Be a good battle down that wide area. Under a bit of pressure already.
Extremely reliable as he tries to close down Sinistera, who plays it back to Pascal Struijk. Anderson will deal with that and play it all the way back to goalkeeper Sam Johnston in sort of marker pen green today. It is 0-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leicester 0, Crystal Palace 0. Palace in possession inside their own half. Anderson not under pressure, allowed to stride forward and play it into Elise, but his ball over to the far side, way too much on that. Joel Ward had no chance of latching onto it, and it's a throw in to Leeds United over on the far side, midway inside their own half.
You just look at Palace's setup. Normally you might say, well, it's a 4-5-1, we'll just stay right behind the ball, but actually as soon as they get sort of in possession, there's so many people forward, the midfielders are going up to support, and very, very brave from Palace.
thrown down the line towards Bamford, but it's won by Ward. Again, just trying to get onto those loose balls in the midfield. It's not a bad pass from Schlupp, but Strauch gets a foot in. And it's a throw-in on the far side to Leeds United, midway inside their own half. Let's head to Augusta. It is the final day, but it was still on the third round at the Masters. John Murray.
Yes, things have tightened up, Robin. Brooks Koepka and Jon Rahm still leading the way. Remember, there was a 4-shot difference between them at the start of play this morning, the resumption, but now that's been cut to 2. So Koepka 13 under, playing the 9th, and Rahm at 11 under, Sam Bennett 6 under, and Matt Fitzpatrick among those on 5 under.
And John Murray, we are British, so it'd be remiss of me not to ask, what's the weather like there?
The weather is like the UK in March. That's what I would say. So I think you've got the better of the deal, Robin, at the moment.
I like it. And John Murray there updating us on the Masters, and we've got full coverage of that on 5 Sports Extra. And I do urge you to check out our social media channels, because there's a very fetching picture of John Murray and Mark Chapman looking pretty miserable from yesterday in the wet weather, in their wet weather gear.
Please, can you send me that? I'd really like to see that.
It is tremendous.
Because imagine what they'd said if the weather was really good. It wouldn't be the end of it.
Out of play, and the assistant referee indicates that it's a goal kick for Leeds United. Still goalless here. And if, like me, you're extremely confused about what day it is Sunday. Tomorrow we have Around the Grounds, the EFL. Aaron Paul presenting live updates of the 3 o'clock games across the EFL, from the Championship all the way down to League 2. On Tuesday from 8 o'clock, live commentary of Manchester City against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, the first leg, quarter-final. And on 5 Sports Extra on Tuesday evening, 7:45, we have commentary of England's women up against Australia. Serena Wiegmann's unbeaten record still intact for England's women. Here it's 0-0 between Leeds United and Crystal Palace in this massive game at the bottom of the Premier League, as Crystal Palace win it back well in midfield. Jeffrey Schlupp goes down and is told to get back up by Simon Hooper, and Leeds could break here on this near side. Jack Harrison, left-footed, plays it down the line for Aronson, digs the cross out towards the back post, and that was a difficult opportunity really for Sinisterra. Had to generate all the power, and his header straight into the gloves of Sam Johnston.
That's good running from Aronson, getting into wider areas. Difficult to mark that when the 10 gets into those positions, wider. Good deep cross. You said Sinisterra just couldn't guide it anywhere else, but to the goalkeeper. They're getting some joy down this flank.
Delicate flick down the line from Jack Harrison, who's really started to fire under Javi Gracia. 3 goals in his last 4 Premier League appearances. Luke Ayling delivers now, and that could have been an own goal. Luis Sinisterra was diving at that, nearly on the ground with the header, gathered by Sam Johnston. Another chance wrapped up by Leeds United. A difficult opportunity, but another one on target.
That was a great give and go. Really good play in the wider area. Luke Ayling just doesn't disappoint, gets into a good position. Great ball right across the face of the goal, and Sinisterra gambles, tries to get in front, doesn't he? And Joel Ward just luckily just bounces off him into the goalkeeper's hands. As you said, it could have went anywhere.
The 2 Leeds United wingers, Harrison, Sinisterra, continuing their good form. Willy Nonto on the bench as well. He's injured on international duty for Italy, but what an option to bring off the substitutes bench if required. At the moment, Palace really living dangerously and just hanging in there at the moment. Pressure relieved somewhat as they have a throw in midway inside their own half. Crystal Palace don't have a good record away at Leeds. The last time they won here was in the Championship, 1-0, March 2006, with a goal from Joby McAnuff.
They need to get hold of the ball a little bit, this Crystal Palace side. Just, you're under the pressure, you're going to get a couple of passes in. They just seem to be losing it every time. Big tackle.
They are absolutely flying in. Two really well-timed, robust challenges from Weston McKennie for Leeds United. Aronson, though, with the trickery. Well, Schlupp thought he brought the ball away cleanly, but Simon Hooper has pulled it back for a foul on Brendan Aronson on this near side, midway inside the Crystal Palace half. Big opportunity this.
It was like a throwback 30 seconds. They enjoyed the look of that. Everybody flying in, some great tackles, great coming forward, and then some wonderful footwork. Aronson just jinks right and left, just gets caught. As you said, the referee right on top of it. Sort of a 2v2 in a wide area. Will they go short or will they put the ball in? You've seen that they want to get crosses in for whatever reason. I feel like that's the threat for Leeds United, putting this Crystal Palace defence under that pressure with balls from wide areas.
Don't think we didn't see your eyes light up, Michael Brown, in that passage of play. Aronson sends it forward. Bamford, though, couldn't control. Still alive here. Pulls it back. Patrick Bamford. It's cleared on the 6-yard area by Jeffrey Schlupp. That was a clever free kick.
It was really good, wasn't it? In behind that line, just those runners. Bamford coming across, trying to get some sort of swing on it towards goal. He just couldn't. It's been an excellent few moments, hasn't it, for Leeds United? Desperately, when you have this much momentum, you've got to try and get that goal.
Again, Leeds United on the front foot, positive, trying to pin Crystal Palace back on this near side. Strauch now stepping out of defence. And the throw-in has gone Crystal Palace's way.
It was indifferent, wasn't it? Schlupp just sort of slid in to sort of stop the ball going down the line, and it sort of went with him, but it was an indifferent challenge.
And Roy Hodgson himself has lost 5 of his 6 games against Leeds as manager. He's lost all 3 at Ellen Road, so not a happy hunting ground for him. The picture on social media this morning of him taking in the delights of Leeds. Little walk to clear his head, settle the nerves. Ball out of play here in the technical area. Javi Gracia striding about in his long duffel coat and track pants and trainers, looking very smart. Battle of 2 Watford managers, of course, although you probably say that most weeks. I don't think you're ever 10 yards or more away from an ex-Watford manager.
His trusty assistant, Ray Livingston, as well.
Of course.
He doesn't go anywhere without him. I did have the pleasure at Fulham with Ray. Very good football man.
Did you ever witness him wearing anything other than shorts?
He wasn't the best referee in small-sided games, that's all I can say. I used to get after him. I think I used to annoy him.
I can't imagine that happened. No,
yeah.
That doesn't sound right at all.
I did like to challenge every decision, though, to be honest.
Knock me down with a feather. 0-0 here. Leeds United, much the more dominant side in terms of chances created. They've passed up quite a few of them. Palace will be the happier with the score as it is. Sent forward by Ayling. Too much on that, and it's an easy take for Sam Johnston, who is making his Premier League debut for Crystal Palace in goal. The injury to Vincente Guaita has ruled him out, calf injury, and the major absentee for Crystal Palace is, of course, Wilfried Zaha, who was forced off half-time against Leicester City last weekend with a groin injury. Not absolutely sure when he will be able to return.
They reacted really well as well in that second half. Do you know, you're looking, pressure's on, you lose your star man, and they did get a turn, and the manager was delighted afterwards. I know you obviously lose your players, but now the test on, being under pressure again, but he'll be cool, won't he, the manager? And I think it's a good point when you're in this position, that you've got a manager who's cool and calm and understands it and portrays that. He does calm a lot of people.
14 clubs have changed Premier League managers this season, nearly 3/4, some more than once.
Any more to come?
We'll have to see. I think David Moyes was under a little bit of pressure, but yesterday's win against Fulham vital, and we understand that it looks like Jesse Marsh, formerly of this parish, will be taking over at Leicester City to try and save them. Ball down the line, it is deflected out. It's going to be a corner kick for Leeds United, first of the game.
Yeah, he overcooked that, didn't he, Luke Ayling, and straight away realised he's got to have touched someone because his pass was that bad. His arms up thinking, please referee, you've got to see that, you've got to give us a corner kick, and he got it. And every Palace player back, nobody on the posts. How will it come out? Will they play short with a 2v1? Jack Harrison nearby.
It's Brendan Aronson, hands on hips, then raises his right arm in the air, right footed. It's going to be an out swinger. It's not a bad delivery, it's towards the goal. It's converted, 1-0 to Leeds United. It has been coming, and all of the Leeds United players run towards the bench. It's a real bundle there. It's Patrick Bamford who flicks the corner kick towards goal, unopposed. It landed right in the corner. It's only his second goal of the season in the Premier League, and what a big one it could be. Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 0.
You know they've worked on that when they run to the bench and they say the set piece, and he just runs round that front post. Patrick Bamford, 6 yards out, just guides it into the far corner, and agonisingly that weight as it hits the top corner just clips the post and falls in, and off Bamford goes in front of those Leeds United supporters. A brilliant set piece. Palace will be really disappointed that he's got such a mark. Poor marking, but what a start for Leeds.
It's no more than they deserve. They've been the dominant side. You can see how much that meant to Patrick Bamford, and you mentioned there, Michael, they ran straight towards the bench. It must be particularly pleasing when one of those set pieces that I'm sure have agonisingly worked on and maybe slightly boring to do it, but when they pay off, it must feel extra sweet.
The ball's on point though. The ball's exactly where they want to be. They want to hit that zone away from the marker, but they've all set up sort of a 4v4 and a sort of a ruck on the penalty spot, and they all try and find a little way, a little angle of getting free, maybe a little block. You get around the front, delivery's good, the timing of it, the execution from Bamford. You know, Leeds United have been wanting a Bamford at the top of the pitch, and it's a big goal here at Ellen Road.
On this evidence at the moment anyway, Crystal Palace have offered so little. Not looking like they're going to turn the tide anytime soon. Marching on together, roared loud and proud at Ellen Road as Jordan Ayew slides into the challenge and wins the ball, and then taken out by Weston McKennie. It's going to be a free kick to Palace just inside the Leeds United half, and frustrations boiling over a little bit here with Jeffrey Schlupp. I think Mark Roker just poked the ball away.
Just play on, referee. There's been a little bit. Let's just go. Don't stop the game. I understand why he's doing it, but it's not enough. The game's flowing. It's great. Just do it. Do it while you're travelling, not to slow the game down. Don't need to do it.
So free kick this near side, which is taken short by Mark Gay into Joachim Andersen on the halfway line. Clips it over to the far side of Michael Elise. A little bit too casual. Trying to play that back to Joel Ward, and Leeds United back in possession and scurrying forward. Bodies flying everywhere. Eze down, and it's a free kick to Palace, which they take quickly now. Leeds United leading by a goal to nil. Patrick Bamford's header later on here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Liverpool against Arsenal live from Anfield. 4:30 kickoff. We'll get the team news at 3:30 from Ian Dennis. He's taking us through that one. Out of play on this near side. And it's a throw-in which Tyreek Mitchell, the Crystal Palace left-back, takes. Clips it in towards the penalty area. Alton Edouard onto Jordan Ayew. Oh, and Michael Elise's unmarked. He was winding up for the shot. A swing and a miss on the edge of the penalty area by Joel Ward. But this is good pressure from Palace at last. Asking some questions of Leeds United. Jordan Ayew swings it in. Headed out of play, and that's going to be a Crystal Palace corner kick now over on the far side.
It's a great ball from Ayew, wasn't it, on this left wing, just coming in on his right foot, that in-swinger, great pace, great direction. It's just sent away for a corner, but it almost dropped, didn't it? We haven't really seen Elise in that wide position getting any joy. It just didn't fall for him. He was expecting the volley to come, but just didn't reach. Now it's their turn from a corner kick.
Oh, it's a dangerous one. It's off the post from Jeffrey Schlupp, who got his head to it. So unfortunate.
Again, a big chance. The delivery was good. And they're all in and around the goalkeeper inside that 6-yard area as he just heads it down, hits the post, and it's so close. It's an absolute sitter when you see it back. Schlupp's got to be so disappointed.
It's another good delivery. Millier gets his gloves to it. Jordan Ayew got his head to it, and it was cleared off the line. This is good pressure from Palace, but the header towards goal is collected by Illan Meslier. A couple of real scares for Leeds United there.
Yeah, again, first contact. You've got to do a little bit better, Leeds United, or they would be punished. But it was almost like crouched down, Jeffrey Schlupp, right on the inside the 6-yard area, central. It just looks to guide it down. He heads it into the floor, off that left-hand post. It's got to be a goal. It's a big miss for Palace.
Much like the Patrick Bamford goal, the marking suspects on that corner kick. But something for Palace to work with here, as it's worked back to the Palace goalkeeper Sam Johnston. Passes it short to the left-sided centre-half Mark Gay.
It's been a great start to the game. Literally incident, chances, energy. Palace are growing into it now. This atmosphere, let's hope it continues. Hope we see a few more opportunities.
After over 100 days in 12th place, Crystal Palace, they are down in 14th. Still so precarious. The mid-table in the Premier League this season is essentially non-existent. You'd probably say Chelsea are the most mid-table team. No real chance of going down or getting European football. Aston Villa on the charge, up to 6th under Unai Emery. This is all set to be a fantastic finish to the Premier League season. We'll have it all for you here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Focus on the EFL tomorrow. Burnley already up. Vincent Kompany leading them back to the Premier League at the first time of asking for next season, as Brendan Aronson turns and finds Jack Harrison over the halfway line, but couldn't quite sort his feet out. But that's a mistake. Junior Firpo for Leeds United goes down, and it's going to be a free kick in a very dangerous area, just on the edge for Leeds United. Frantic.
Well, he's having a bit of a nightmare, isn't he? Can't sort himself out. He's getting caught as Mitchell just tries to recover. Wasn't a lot of contact, just trying to see it back to see there is definitely going to be a foul in it. There wasn't much. Firpo does well. He actually rides the challenge, waits for the contact, dives down. This is a great position, and that's how to win a free kick, whether it's engineered or whether it's not, whether it's right. But he's done it. The referees gave it, but the man of the moment, Jack Harrison, he's got all the confidence. That new contract, can he deliver? Aronson in and around it as well. You feel like you want to get somebody in the line of the goalkeeper, just blocking off with the wall. That this is a great position, just right of the D, sort of just outside the penalty line, sort of 20 yards. It's a good chance.
Right for a left footer. It looks like Jack Harrison is the...
You might sneak the right foot around when you look from this angle.
That's true, the wall. There's a little gap there for Brendan Aronson, perhaps. 28 minutes played. It's Jack Harrison, and it's touched round the post by Sam Johnston. It looked like it was heading in.
Yeah, goalkeeper's side, there was that block, and if you watch, Bamford really just comes out of the line. He knows exactly what he's doing. Goalkeeper maybe not to see it, unsighted. If I think it was lower down, I think he would have had a chance, but it's sort of a good height for the goalkeeper, sees it well as he tips it round the post.
He's been busy, Sam Johnston. He had no chance with the Patrick Bamford goal. Just had to stand and watch as it crept in and off the post. Corner kick over on the far side. Left-footed, swung in, and it's another good header by Robin Koch this time. But fairly easy take for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, they've just got to get to grips because the marking's not been good. They're getting free headers, and Palace will be punished if they don't sort it.
Joel Ward clears upfield. And Robin Koch, midway inside his own half, will have a lot of time to play this ball forward to Weston McKennie, the United States international, January signing. Sent forward towards Patrick Bamford, and Joachim Andersen, well, he stuck a leg out, and I think he got quite lucky there that it just rolled back to his goalkeeper, and Crystal Palace can start again from inside their own penalty area. I guess the good, perhaps one shred of hope for Crystal Palace. They are the Premier League's best side in terms of points gained from losing position, 17 so far this season. They are used to going behind and keeping their cool and keeping themselves in games, and they really could have struck back. Jeffrey Schlupp with that header that bounced off the post just a couple of minutes after Leeds United had taken the lead. Still a slender goal advantage for Javi Gracia's side, and Eze under a bit of pressure, sent forward by Guehi and easily helped back to the goalkeeper by Sinisterra. Leeds United now playing out from the back under very little pressure to Pascal Strauch. Alton Edouard now trying to close them down, and now here's Jeffrey Schlupp trying to close down Robin Koch, who sends it forward towards Patrick Bamford, up against Joachim Andersen. Tyreek Mitchell helping out, clearing up the Palace left back up to Jordan Ayew. Plays it into Schlupp, who wriggles away from a challenge and just about works it to Joachim Andersen. But this is such an energetic display from Leeds United. They're really not allowing Crystal Palace more than a second on the ball. Let's get back to Augusta and the Masters. Alistair Bruce Ball can keep us up to date.
Hotting up very nicely in the third round. Brooks Koepka still leads by 2 shots from Jon Rahm, but Jon Rahm has closed the gap this morning here at Augusta with birdies at the 7th and 8th. They've both just parred the very tricky par 4 10th. Deep in conversation, the pair of them, as they made it towards the 11th tee. It is a battle royal at the moment here at Augusta. Third round, Koepka 13 under, Rahm 11 under.
If you want full comprehensive coverage of the Masters, 5 Sports Extra is where you can find it. Here it's Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 0 in the Premier League.
I wonder if we've got a picture of ABB in one of those raincoats as well. I've been sent it now. John Murray's, I've witnessed it.
What's your assessment?
We might have to have a whip round. Could do better. That's what I'd say.
Not impressed with the wet weather gear.
We have to have a little look at his wardrobe with that one, to be honest. It might keep him dry. Chappers, yeah, he's just a safe bet in the old white one, but they look a little bit wet.
Yeah, very much looks like they've got more like in a sort of wet weather weekend in Devon or something, not at the Masters in Augusta. Thankfully, it looks like they will be able to finish today, and that's a good through ball for Crystal Palace, up to Alton Edouard, facing up, but it's good defending from Robin Koch. Schlupp to the byline, pulls it back. But out of play by Weston McKennie. It's a corner kick for Crystal Palace.
There was a trip right in the centre of the pitch where they looked like a promising breakaway, but they did well there. Schlupp's getting in good position. He's trying to make advance run, has tried to fizz the ball right across, but Leeds United good numbers back. But now who's going to mark Schlupp? Are they just going to go zonal? They've got 3 on the edge of the 6-yard, 1 front post, a couple of blockers and 4 markers, but everyone's sort of inside the box for Leeds as well.
Elise left-footed outswinger, and it's just wide. It's another really good delivery from Michael Elise, and another big chance for Crystal Palace.
That's a huge chance again. The free headers, no one's on the post, as we've mentioned, is just agonisingly drifts wide, just misses the post. It's like a big chance again. Ayew on this occasion. No wonder Roy Hodgson looking on, thinking surely that's the equaliser, but both sides, isn't it? And the set pieces, corner kicks causing big problems.
Yeah, looking threatening, both sides, and also looking very vulnerable defensively. Leeds United in possession inside the Crystal Palace half. Sinisterra going round the outside and picking out Jack Harrison on this near side. The left footer, inverted winger Aronson down to Ayling, to the byline, right side the penalty area. Got the cross in, but gathered at the near post by Johnston. Still 1-0 to Leeds United here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
He just keeps going, doesn't he, Luke Ayling? As soon as he gets the licence, you just know he's coming like a train into those positions. He gets in some great spots, doesn't give it up. And the ball just fizzes across the front, no one across the post and into the goalkeeper's hands.
As we've seen, pretty much ever since Marcelo Bielsa took charge of this team, it is all about the energy. And they were slightly chaotic under Jesse Marsch, which I think was their downfall generally. Javi Gracia, very calm character, as we discussed in the build-up on Premier League Sunday. And he's very much someone who doesn't want the limelight. He was saying that it's not about him, the players are the protagonists. But he's certainly brought more of a sense of cohesion, a bit more calm, stability.
If he keeps this team up, it'll all be about him. He'll want to make sure he's right in the mix to take this club forward for certain.
Well, he was far from their first choice, wasn't he, when they were looking for their next manager?
It was really, really messy, wasn't it? And there's something they've got to improve on and look at in the future. I'm sure they will.
Eze pokes it through to Edouard, and now Michael Elise, drop of the shoulder, not once but twice, but it's red, and Leeds United try and get it away. Good press from Palace, not allowing them to get out. Joachim Andersen, the centre-half, is inside the Leeds United, trying to win it back. They're trying to be more aggressive now, Palace. It's put out of play over on the far side for a throw to Palace, who are still in this game. They could have been out of it into the final 10 minutes of the first half. Elise.
Key moment now, isn't it, in this game? You know, it's approaching the half-time. What can you do?
Edouard trying to work the space for the shots. Jack Harrison back there defending and sweeping it forward from the edge of his own penalty area. Yes, as you say, Michael, Palace trying to finish the half strongly.
The ideal time to score. We need to see a little bit more at the top of the pitch, don't we? Edouard for sure, from the Palace perspective. And when you talk about game management, seeing the game out, you know, for Leeds United, just got to make sure no real risk now. Just keep the gaps. You've got you where you wanted to be.
Weston McKennie splits the pass through a couple of Palace players and finds Aronson. Now right side the penalty area, Jack Harrison. Easy clearance for Joachim Andersen, in a good position to do so. Out of play for a throw-in on this near side.
Again, they're getting in some great positions. They don't disappoint. They put the ball straight in. I think from a striker's point of view, they'd be really pleased. Opposite wide man might as well go quicker.
It's good movement from Harrison. Couldn't quite control on the byline, and it's going to be cleared upfield by Tyreek Mitchell of Crystal Palace. Edouard can't control, buffeted by Robin Koch. It's going to be picked up here by Doucouré, but the bounce of the ball is awkward and Mark Roker brings it away. Midway inside the Palace half, here's Sinisterra. Centrally to Mark Roker, try to scoop the ball towards Sinisterra. Good idea. It just bounced away from the Colombian and into the gloves of Sam Johnston.
It was clever, wasn't it? He was under pressure, just tried to flick it over. It just ran on. Johnson really quick off his line, coming down it to make sure there's no advantage. But fascinating, really. Leeds United just keep going with the type of energy that they've got.
And yourself and Stephen Warnock and Aaron Lennon in the build-up to this were talking about that the Ellen Road crowd can be a blessing and a curse. 20 of their 29 points accrued this season have come here, so clearly it's been a positive influence this season at least. Very
positive. But when they don't like something, they'll let you know. That was my point. Obviously they wanted that manager change earlier than it possibly came, and the players were struggling, but it's really been a good turnaround and real positivity, and I think you do feel like this is the game. They're going and win this. You feel the confidence will be sky high again. We'll get more results, and towards the end of the season.
Good strength from Bamford. Aronson goes down, and the referee Simon Hooper has given a free kick Leeds United's way.
Looked a good decision, didn't it? He had a look straight away, and he give it. Credit where credit's due. He could have let that one slide, but I think he made the right decision.
There's been another weekend of referees taking a bit of a battering. Came in today. Martin Atkinson was here as a supporter.
Did you give him a bet? I hope you did. I would have.
I lent him a sympathetic ear because he seemed a bit World War because of what happened to his colleagues yesterday.
Martin would have still given me a yellow walking in when he's not even working.
Just keeps his card still.
He'll have one in his pocket today.
Even when he's off duty. Oh, it's another great header! Fantastic save from Sam Johnston. Somehow it remains 1-0. Pascal strike up from the back. Tremendous delivery, curled in like a heat-seeking missile, and surely Strauch thought that was in.
Yeah, again, similar angle, that front post zone. Yes, it was from a deeper, wider free kick position, but similar outcome. Good save to the right-hand side.
And you just worry for Leeds. Are they going to be made to pay for these missed chances? Some of the set-piece deliveries from both sides have been exquisite. Sam Johnston on his Premier League debut has made some really crucial saves as well. Into the final 5 minutes here at Elland Road. Still Patrick Bamford's goal separates the two sides, Leeds United and Crystal Palace. It seems like the whole of the bottom half from 10th downwards in a relegation fight this season.
How many times have we said as well, you get results today, you sort of go, oh, well, that's them, they should be out of it, and we've been saying it too often.
Bit of a dangerous moment for Leeds United as Michael Elise is making a run down the far side, the right, but Junior Firpo deals with it. Back with Eze for Palace, over to the far side, and Michael Elise. Eze over the top for Elise, who will get there, but Strauch did well to narrow the angle. He pokes it into the gloves of Illan Meslier.
That's the attacking players, the flair that we wanted. Eze into Elise, into the wider positions. He's so nice on the eye, isn't he, Eze, when he steps forward, he makes things happen. I want to see a little bit more from him, ideally. Don't want to come back into it, but again, just too far away from him, from Elise.
Slip from Bamford, he wanted a foul. Mark Roker hooks it over the top. Bamford will kick this in on the near side, but just right out of play there. Another up and down season for Leeds United's number 9, but positive today. He's got his second Premier League goal. Really well directed header from a corner kick. Still Leeds United leading by 1-0. Palace could be out of this, but they're hanging on in there still. 3 minutes until half-time, plus any stoppages. Hasn't been many. And if you want the golf, the Masters is on 5 Sports Extra. The final round will be at 7 o'clock, and then 5 Live Sports will have it from 8 o'clock tonight, right after 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Before that, Liverpool against Arsenal, live from Anfield with Ian Dennis and Dion Dublin. Bumper Premier League Sunday. Luke Ayling with a strong header to deny Jeffrey Schlupp a path to goal. Aronson sends it over the top towards Patrick Bamford. And Crystal Palace eventually get it away. That's good feet from Mark Gay in a bit of space here. Over the halfway line goes Ebere Eze and finds Michael Elise, left-footed, cutting in. And that was a poorly timed challenge by Junior Firpo. A free kick and a yellow card for the left-back.
Yeah, it was always going to be on it in that advanced position, but I just thought the pass could have been in front of Elise. He's come back onto his left foot. Felt like he goes line. He's got loads of bodies getting into the box, running with real intent. He comes inside, draws the foul, and yes, it's in a good position. Firpo gets that yellow card, but just felt like it was a little bit of a wasted opportunity.
Set piece chance for Crystal Palace, and this would be a good time to draw level. 90 seconds remaining of the first half. It is right of centre, so again would favour the left footer. Michael Elise has scored from this sort of position. He scored a fantastic free kick against Manchester United earlier on in the season. It is Elise, but it's an easy one for Illan Meslier on target. Didn't really have to move though, the Leeds United goalkeeper.
No, straight at him, very comfortable. At the end of this first half, it was a waste. Felt like he could have put a better delivery in. Set pieces, obviously they've got first contact on. I thought that might have been the better option.
Ward at the right back sends it forward. Strauch leaves it for Robin Koch to deal with. Scampers over to the far side and clears, but Eze gets his head to it. Throw in midway inside the Leeds half over on the far side. Joel Ward will take for Crystal Palace. Final 30 seconds of normal time. I don't imagine we'll have much stoppage time. Another free kick for Palace.
Yeah, big chance, wasn't it? This is a little bit of a pull. Referee on top and said, you know what, I'm going to give that. A lot further away, but this delivery's got to be on point. It's got to be a good one. Leeds United all on the same line, right on the edge of the penalty area. Nobody should break it. You've all got to stay together and wait. Be really, really brave. This situation, tense times. You see Anderson just trying to find the gap through it.
Ford has got up 1 minute. Right-footed in towards Jeffrey Schlupp, and it's tucked in by Mark Gee. Palace level up in stoppage time. You said it had to be on point, Michael Brown, and it was. Flicked on and then poked in by Mark Gahey right on the stroke of half-time. Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Let's see now, does anybody break that line? It was like a little flick, and we're just so tight. We're going to maybe see some lines on this, but Gahey doesn't give it up. And just as Meslier tries to get his left hand to it, he just nicks in front of it, pokes it over the top, but it's going to be a tight one. We're still waiting. Referee stood over where it is, and the line's coming across, and oh, it's tight, isn't it? It's hard to call. We've seen so many times as commentators, we go, yeah, it looks good, no it doesn't, and we see the next line come in. Big moment in the game.
Is Robin Koch playing him onside? Are we going to have an armpit situation here, as we sometimes do? It was flicked on by Schlupp.
Come on, Robin, get off the fence. What are we giving?
It
looks good, doesn't it? It looks good.
So many times before, my eyes deceive me. It looked from this angle, it looks all right, but I don't draw the lines. We're still waiting.
It's just on the touch, isn't it? Where that contact is, but Mellier's inches away. Literally, just that foot comes across, just pokes it over his arm, and there's the referee's decision.
Never in doubt. We knew that. It was a tight one. But again, both sides have looked so dangerous from set pieces, and they've also looked pretty abject in defending them.
Exactly that. Being good at attacking, terrible at defending them. And literally, this is the detail. It's so close, Meslier. But you've got to go and run it. You've not got to give it up. And as youngsters, you make that run every time and one will come your way, and that's what he did. And as I said before, he hadn't really had the best of halves. I thought he's been a little bit sloppy. He might have lost the man for the goal, actually, in Bamford, and he needed that.
Players continued. Luke Ayling takes a tumble. We've massively overshot stoppage time because of that VAR check. Play goes on. Weston McKennie tries to play in Luke Ayling, cleared upfield, and that's it. Half time. Simon Hooper blows his whistle, and Leeds United took the lead thanks to Patrick Bamford from a set piece, a corner kick. They passed up quite a few opportunities from open play to increase their advantage. Crystal Palace in stoppage time strike back with a set piece goal of their own. 1-1 at half-time, Michael Brown.
A brilliant first half of football. Leeds United, as expected, come out very, very quickly, put Palace under pressure. Got several opportunities, great running down the right especially, and that chance came from the set piece. Bamford, great header into the top corner to give Leeds United that lead. They could have got more, they could have took the lead, further advance with more opportunities. Palace a big chance. Jeffrey Schlupp hitting that post, and it was set pieces that were going to be the downfall. And as we've seen right at the end, Guy just getting that equaliser just in front of Meslier. But so both sides got to do better in the second half defending set pieces.
Thrilling first half here, and it's still very much anyone's game. Half-time at Ellen Road. Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Yeah, Michael, this could just come down to who defends set pieces the least poorly. I mean, Bamford's header is a brilliant header. You can kind of rule that one out. But Leeds could have conceded 3 goals from set pieces in that half.
All from set pieces. If I'm the set piece coach now, I'll be dodging the managers. I won't be anywhere near that dressing room because they're all going to look around and say, that's your job, that's your organisation. It's been poor from both. attacking, you could say, give them credit, they've got into some good positions, but at this level you're going to be punished, and we've seen straight away that's been the outcome. But real interesting first half, Crosby, and some good football. Palace really playing within themselves, need to come out a little bit more, do a little bit better. We've seen the best of Leeds United at times as well.
Yeah, shocking defending at times, but for the neutrals, it gives us a really, really exciting game. Thank you very much, Robin and Michael Brown, for the time being. Coming up, we'll be round the Rugby League, the latest county championship cricket, the British Swimming Championships as well, and the Rugby Union, which is going on this afternoon. We will do all of that after the latest news with Stuart Clarkson.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Steve, thank you. Good afternoon. The US says it's monitoring China's actions as military drills continue around Taiwan. Beijing says its simulated precision strikes are a stern warning to the self-governing island in response to the Taiwanese president visiting the US last week. The Conservative Party has rejected a suggestion from its leader in Scotland that people should vote for whichever party has the best chance of beating the SNP. Douglas Ross has told the Sunday newspaper that people know how to vote tactically. The National Medical Director of NHS England, Professor Sir Stephen Powis, has warned that this week's 4-day strike by junior doctors could cause unparalleled levels of disruption. The walkout in England over pay is due to begin on Tuesday, straight after the bank holiday weekend. The British Medical Association, which represents doctors, says ministers have yet to make a serious offer. A survey of teachers suggests 1 in 8 has been physically assaulted by a pupil in the last year. Almost 8,500 members across the UK took part in the NAS UWT Union's study. Many reported they'd been kicked, bitten, punched or slapped. Pope Francis has spoken of his deep concern in the flare-up of violence between Israelis and Palestinians in his Easter blessing at the Vatican. The 86-year-old, recently discharged from hospital following bronchitis, has also called on the international community to end the war in Ukraine. Our reporter Danny Eberhard was listening.
He said, shed the light of Easter on the peoples of Russia. What he doesn't do, he doesn't name Russia as the aggressor in this war, but he has made it clear in past speeches that Russia needs to change its behaviour. He doesn't use those words directly, but he wants effectively the Kremlin to end the war. He just is careful how he phrases it.
And the government says it's going to spend around £3 million on trying to reduce the illegal sale of e-cigarettes in England. The plan will include sending undercover inspectors to test whether shops are selling vapes to under 18s.
The Indian Premier League on 5 Sports Extra.
He's launched underground, up go the arms, 6 more.
The IPL, most watched tournament around the world.
The biggest names in cricket.
Good bit of glove work there from MS Dhoni.
What a catch by Josh Butler.
Virat Kohli flips that one down to fine leg.
Extensive IPL coverage with live games from across the competition.
Hit straight back over his head, over the sight screen. 6 runs.
Visit the 5 Sports Extra website for a full list of fixtures and commentaries.
IPL on Radio 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday
with Steve Crossman.
Leeds 1, Crystal Palace 1, second half commentary on the way. As we've been telling you, it's day 4, but still round 3 at the Augusta Masters. Ian Carter is there, and it's still a two-way battle at the top.
It is. It's a real heavyweight battle as well at the moment, because Brooks Koepka, the overnight leader, when they resumed, he had a tough par putt to come, and it was made all the tougher because Jon Rahm then capitalised on a birdie. So a 2-shot swing on that 7th hole, and since then they've been going toe-to-toe with a 2-stroke differential. Brooks Koepka at 13 under par. He's just parred the 11th. Rahm has just parred the 11th as well. They're playing the short 12th. Koepka 13 under, Rahm 11 under. The next closest rivals are Sam Bennett, the amateur, who's playing with those two, and Patrick Cantlay, who's up at the 18th. They're both at 6 under par, with the leading Britons at 4 under par. Matt Fitzpatrick, the reigning US Open champion, in a spot of bother on 16 at the moment, and Justin Rose, who's playing the par 5 15th.
Any chance of a good weather report?
Improving. It's still very chilly. It's not blowing at all hard, and we've actually seen, you're not going to believe this, but we have actually seen patches of blue sky and shafts of sunlight. So it's increasingly pleasant. It's set fair for the rest of the day. It's going to be a very long, but I think potentially very dramatic day. And just to reiterate, those leading Britons, they're at 4 under par. So I think they're struggling for a green jacket, but they could land themselves a massive check come close of play.
Thank you very much, Ian. And the team are live on 5 Sports Extra for the end of the third round. They'll then be back on at 7 for the final round. And after that, of course, 5 Live Sport will be joining them too. In cricket's county championship, it's day 4. The defending champions Surrey continuing their hunt for victory over Lancashire. Kevin Howells is at Old Trafford.
First game of the season, of course, last day thereof, 164 for 2 at Lancashire. So Surrey still searching for those 8 further wickets to wrap up this victory for them. It's going to be hard work, already proven, of course, having only taken 2 wickets so far today. They will have around about 25-26 overs with a second new ball. That could be their best hope. At the moment, resistance being shown by Croft on 27. Bohannon, who has dropped on 2, is not out on 62. Some headlines from elsewhere. Resistance shown from Middlesex at Lords, but it's all over against Essex. Their target 308. They were all out for 210. Luke Holman was not out 67. So Essex off to a victory by 97 runs. Jamie Porter with 9 wickets for the match. At Taunton, having lost the entire first day to weather, it looked like a draw. But Warwickshire have got Somerset at 84 for 4 second innings. That's still 24 runs behind. And Kent are chasing 227 to beat Northants at home. They're 98 for 3.
Kevin, thank you very much indeed. Always a good chance to draw your attention to our superb ball-by-ball county cricket coverage on the BBC Sport website. We also have live coverage of the IPL. Our next match is tomorrow, Royal Challengers Bangalore against Lucknow Super Giants. Coverage on 5 Sports Extra from 2:45. Let's go into Rugby League now. The Women's Super League kicks off today. Holders Leeds Rhinos against York Valkyrie. Dave Woods.
Yeah, real 5-star start to the season here. Leeds, York and St Helens are the 3 real powerhouses in Women's Rugby League. And these 2 sides underlining their intentions by paying their players this year on a performance-based basis. So semi-professional, both Leeds and York. They both feature a cluster of England stars as well. York Valkyrie, Tara Jane Stanley at fullback, Liv Wood, Holly May Dodd in the starting 13 and Grace Field on the bench, all featured in England's World Cup campaign. 2 new players for them. Amy Staveley, interestingly, an ex-Leeds player, is on the bench, as is Sadi Rihari from Salford. Interesting Leeds lineup as well. No Frank Goldthorpe or Georgia Roach. There's some speculation that they could be heading for the Women's Iron NRL in Australia. But they do have new signings in Amy Hardcastle, who's been a big name capture from St Helens in the close season, another ex-England international, and Georgia Hale, a signing from New Zealand in the off-season as well. So this should be a cracker.
Dave, thank you very much indeed. Big stories down at the bottom of the Premier League and of the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Dundee United beat Hibs 2-1 earlier today, so they move up to 25 points, still bottom of the league, but just 2 behind Ross County, who themselves won at St Johnstone on Saturday. Huge game in the Premier League coming up at 4:30. Full commentary of the Premier League leaders Arsenal at Anfield to face Liverpool, and that's where we find our senior football reporter Ian Dennis in the tunnel. Ian.
Yes, I'm in the tunnel. I've never been into this part of Anfield since the main stand was redeveloped, but if I just look down the corridor, I can just see that the Arsenal players are filing into their dressing room, which is about, 12 yards away from where I'm standing. So the atmosphere has been building outside. I've got to say as well, fair play to Mikel Arteta and Martin Ødegaard last night. Arsenal arrived on Merseyside at about 6:30, and the manager and the captain made their own way to Anfield to lay floral tributes at the Hillsborough Memorial, because of course today, because it's the closest home game to the date of the Hillsborough disaster, there will be a minute's silence, and Arsenal paid their own tributes yesterday, which I know was greatly appreciated by everybody connected with Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lovely gesture. That tunnel that you're standing in right now, many teams have been beaten in that tunnel over the years, of course.
Well, they have, and Arsenal know all about that, because they've got a dreadful record here at Anfield. They've not won in their last 12 visits. This is going to be such a pivotal game in the title race. I mean, many people are predicting it will go to the wire, but bearing in mind that Manchester City, who obviously were very impressive at Southampton yesterday, they meet each other in 2.5 weeks' time at the Etihad, but Manchester City will only play one more league game because of the FA Cup semi-final between now and then. Arsenal, including this game, have got 3 matches, so Arsenal could conceivably go into that game potentially with an 11-point advantage at the top of the table, or if they were to slip up here today, Manchester City then, the title is back in their hands. So this is going to be such a crucial game as far as the outcome of the title is concerned.
Especially given the rest of the run-in. You mentioned that they've still got to go to Manchester City. They've still got to go to Newcastle as well. I mean, they might not need to be totally perfect, but the way Manchester City are playing, you imagine they won't have to be far off it.
Well, Pep Guardiola said after last night's game he'd prefer to be in Arsenal's position than where they are. But you're right about Arsenal's running. They've got to go to Newcastle in early May away from home. They've got Brighton the following week as well at home. And on Brighton's current form, that will be a tricky contest as well. But from Manchester City's point of view, they have still got to, they're still the ones in pursuit. They're playing the catch-up still. So Manchester City, there is no margin for error from Manchester City's point of view, who might conceivably have to win every remaining fixture. But equally from Arsenal's point of view, they can't afford to slip up as well. And that's what makes this title race so fascinating.
I gave the stat earlier, Ian, that Liverpool have won more home games this season than Newcastle United. They've also won less away games than bottom of the table Southampton. And it's difficult to work out why, not least because if you ask the Liverpool manager, he'd probably, as he has been in his press conferences, quite honestly say, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's exasperated. A lot of the Liverpool supporters are too, but their home form has been their only comfort this season. If you look at their points tally, they've got 43 points. I don't think they're going to get top four now. It'll be the first time since Jurgen Klopp in his 6 full seasons he's always achieved a top four finish, but 30 of those 43 points have come here at Anfield. Of their remaining 10 games, 6 of them are at home. So can they finish the season strongly? They've got to try and find some consistency. They certainly will want an improvement on that performance against Chelsea in midweek, that is for sure, because even Jurgen Klopp said that he thought, I think his quote was, I think he thought the computer was broken because of the data, how many times they gave the ball away. So they'll expect an improvement from Chelsea in midweek, certainly.
Are you going to touch the board before you go out?
I'm not. I'm at one end of the tunnel. I'm not allowed to cross a certain line.
Okay.
So I'm within 12 yards of the Arsenal dressing room door. I've just seen it swing open. A fitness coach has just walked in, but I know my place down here in the corridor, in the tunnel.
Ian, thank you very much indeed. Ian Dennis will be alongside Dion Dublin for full commentary of Liverpool versus Arsenal. Players are also in the tunnel at Ellen Road, so we'll be back there shortly for second half commentary after we've checked back in at Augusta with John Murray.
Well, there's a long day of golf still ahead of us, but the tension and the excitement is beginning to ramp up here. I'm at Amen Corner, Steve, and I've just had a bird's eye view here of the lead of Brooks Koepka being reduced now to just 1 shot. So when play resumed this morning, Koepka was 4 shots ahead of Jon Rahm, but Koepka from off the green at the back left his chip 8 feet beyond the hole, failed to hole it, so Koepka dropped a shot to go back to 12 under. Jon Rahm from off the back was able to make his par 3, so he remains at 11 under, so just 1 shot in it now between the top 2, and on 6 under par on the course, the amateur Sam Bennett, Victor Hovland, the Norwegian, and also Patrick Cantlay, the world number 4.
John, thank you very much indeed. That's John Murray, and full commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. We've just been in the tunnel at Anfield, in the tunnel at Ellen Road. The Crystal Palace manager, Roy Hodgson, has just re-emerged. This is a huge 45 minutes at the wrong end of the Premier League table, and Michael Brown is with Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yes, Roy Hodgson has made his way back out, 75-year-old. And, one of those interesting quotes when... I think it was David Moyes was asked, do you need this? Do you really need this? And he compared it to a drug. And I'm not sure Roy Hodgson agreed when asked about that. But clearly difficult to stay away. And you can see why. Occasions like this, they must get a huge thrill out of it. And Palace, well, they were second best for most of that first half. But they stayed in the game and scored on the stroke of half-time to make it 1-1 after Patrick Bamford's header deservedly gave Leeds the lead. Mark Gahey got the equaliser for Crystal Palace. It will be interesting to see if there are different approaches from Palace in particular, Michael Brown, because I'm not sure Leeds could have done much more really in that first half.
Yeah, other than defend set pieces. They had a couple of warning shots and they didn't put it right, and then they were punished. But it was a fascinating first half of football for sure. Leeds United very quick, creating some good runs, high energy, some good quality, but certainly made the second half really open now. And well, Palace with that goal right on half-time have more momentum going into this second.
Poked forward by Jeffrey Schlupp. No changes at the break, and Palace playing from left to right now. As we look down from our commentary position, so here are the two teams for Leeds United. Meslier in goal, Ayling, Koch, Strauch and Firpo the back four, Roca and McKennie the two holding midfielders, Sinisterra, Aronson and Harrison the three behind Patrick Bamford. For Crystal Palace, Johnston in goal, a back four of Ward, Anderson, Gay and Mitchell, Schlupp, Decore, Eze in midfield, and the front three, Ayew, Edouard and Elise. Wilfried Zaha out for an indeterminate period of time with a groin injury. Jordan Ayew now over on the far side, the left. Drops the shoulder and gets to the byline. This is a chance, can he pull it back? Good defending, out for a corner kick for Crystal Palace, and this was the situation they scored in just on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, it was great play down that left-hand side. Ayew just sort of squared Ayling up and said, OK, let's see what you've got. Pushed it down the line and left him. As he approaches the penalty area, comes right inside it, down that line, looking for bodies, and good recovery runs from Leeds United.
Corner kick once again, Michael Elise. His delivery has been pretty much perfect so far. Well defended though by Mark Roca for Leeds United. Elise retrieves and it's sent back in by Eze. Deep cross towards Edouard, and Firpo kept his eye on the ball. And as he just about prevented the corner, he has. Here's Decore for Palace. Oh, there's a good save from Illan Meslier, but he stayed down here. Couple of players down.
Yeah, Schlupp, I think, ran right into him. It could be a nasty one for Meslier. Really brave on the punch, and it was a great ball in right across. Great run as well, and just tried to see the contact back, but did collide with each other, and let's hope they're okay. But again, good quality from Palace, good positions. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Thankfully he didn't stay down for too long. Schlupp threw himself at that and missed the ball, clattered into Illan Meslier, who is on his feet. I think Simon Hooper gave the free kick foul from Schlupp, who completely missed the ball. Weston McKennie spreads it out to this near side, the left, and Palace just look a little bit sharper now at the start of this second half. Joachim Andersen down the line on this near side towards Elise, picked up by Ebery Eze, and now Odsonne Edouard, who had his heels clipped, but Simon Hooper plays the advantage as Palace trying to up the tempo. Joel Ward, the Crystal Palace right back, into Elise, out of play for a throw in to Palace.
It's unlucky that, wasn't it? Elise just tries to whiz it round the corner, just get blocked. He didn't have good contact, but good combination from Crystal Palace. More confident, crisper passing with a purpose, a little bit firm, better.
Delicate flick from Odsonne Edouard, central position, trying to play in Jeffrey Schlupp on the right hand side, but Leeds clear, and a really good sliding challenge from Michael Elise, but Palace don't have possession for long. Aronson tries to thread it through for Sinisterra, and Simon Hooper has pulled it back for a foul on Patrick Bamford, caught by Joel Ward, and a yellow card for the Palace right back as well.
That's an interesting one, because Joel Ward goes big on this challenge. The side footer tries to tackle, goes right through the ball, and there's a slight clip on the shin, I think, of Patrick Bamford, and VAR will be looking at this because of the height of the challenge. Is he in control? Is he not? Is he endangering an opponent? The leg's not planted, thankfully, from Bamford, so it's off the ground. If it was in the ground, we might have been in trouble, but not saying that there was intent there from Joel Ward, but just to be careful when you tackle like that.
Just caught him on the follow through, so didn't get a clean connection with Patrick Bamford, but you're right, he was flying into it, got most of the ball. But a free kick for Leeds United, midway inside the Palace half. Brendan Aronson and Mark Roca lining up. Aronson takes it short, square ball to Weston McKennie, clips it over to the far side. Don't think he really caught that as he like, and Jordan Ayew will bring it away. Good challenge from McKennie to stop Jordan Ayew in his tracks, but Palace back in possession inside their own half. Spreads it to the near side, the right to Joel Ward, and now Eze in support on this near touchline, forced to go inside. plays it into Jeffrey Schlupp. Palace playing with a little bit more confidence as well now, playing themselves out of tight situations. They have had a good spell of possession here. 1-1 here at Ellen Road. Coming up on BBC Radio 5 Live, Liverpool against Arsenal. And Mark Gay plays it forward straight into the arms of Illan Meslier. Leeds fans urging their team on. But again, not on the same wavelength. Robin Koch with a long ball over the top, under no pressure at all.
Bamford went big to come back, so it's one of those where you go the opposite to go and create the space to come back in. Actually, Koch didn't see that, he went for the big one.
Went for the space and there was no one there.
Yeah.
Eze onto Michael Elise, to the byline, crosses it in and it's flicked over the top. No one there, but it's retrieved over on the far side, left side, the penalty area by Jordan Ayew, gets the cross in, away on the 6-yard area. Joel Ward closed down as he tried to get the pass out to this near side, the left. Again, this is being played at a frenetic pace. No side really in complete control here. Good win from Ward. Towering over Jack Harrison. Edouard. A little bit too much on that for Michael Esaus, who forced to scurry away from goal, but shifts and finds a perfect cross. And Crystal Palace have turned it around. Jordan Ayew. What a brilliant passage of play from Palace. And from 1-0 down, they lead by 2-1.
It's an incredible goal from Palace. They start to move it around, gaining confidence. And as it gets to Elise in that wide right position, he sort of stands upright, brings it on his left. Wonderful ball in right in the centre. Ayew off the opposite side, comes in, glances that header into the near corner. It's a wonderful goal, and they've started so well in this second half, and no wonder they're putting Leeds United under this pressure. But it's about the quality, the run, the desire. Elise and Ayew, brilliant header into that far right corner.
Fantastic play from Elise, the drop of the shoulder. His deliveries from wide areas have been absolutely sublime. But again, not from a set piece this time, cross into the box. And Leeds United second to it once again. Must be such huge frustration seeing that, especially given the way they created so many chances in the first half. But Palace, as you say, Michael, they've come out for this second half. They look like a different team.
But Leeds United have let them have too much possession. They've not got near them. Got more confident, didn't they? Putting the balls in, moving it around, playing to the 9. So midfield runners getting in advanced positions, and then the overlap starts to happen. And he just sort of flicks it, doesn't it? Elise just goes, OK, I'll play it with my left if you don't come tight to me.
Roy Hodgson in his technical area in a power stance. You can't keep a good man down. Can Leeds strike back? No. Jack Harrison's centre is easily cleared up, and Jordan Ayew brings it away. He is a frustrating player, Jordan Ayew, but when he is on it, he can be so hard to stop.
But he started well, didn't he, down that left-hand side just before, where he's ran into the penalty area, coming off the line again. We said that about Leeds United, didn't we, in the first half, about Luke Ayling getting down that right-hand side. The opposites, you know, there'd be Sinisterra's got to come across. Exactly what he did. He gets the yard and just heads it into the corner.
Now, what do we think, Javi Gracia?
I'll tell you what it's going to give us a great second half now, that's for sure.
Certainly is. Space opening up, though, once again. Edge of the penalty area for Michael Elise, trying to thread it through for Eze! Oh, it's 3-1! What a brilliant counter-attack! Eze takes his boot off and shows it to the away supporters. 2 goals in quick succession has put Crystal Palace in full control here. Leeds 1, Palace 3.
What a start to this second half from Crystal Palace. Forward runs, desire, quality as well, understanding the timings, when to go, when to turn, when to set the ball off in a correct manner. And the midfield runs, breaking those lines. If you do that as a midfield player, give, go. And then it's this little threaded ball, quality from Elise. And there he is, just to poke it underneath Meslier. But it's about the awareness from that run as he cuts in the left. And the touch, Messi under the goalkeeper. Wonderful goal from Palace.
Both assists in this second half from Michael Elise. He's been sensational. The deft touch, and Ebery Eze with his 5th Premier League goal this season. It's his best ever return. And what do Leeds United do now?
Well, it's going to be, honestly, they're going to go for it. I know that's a certainty. This could have everything this second half.
It's another mistake. Edouard nearly getting away, but Robin Koch is there to clear it up, clears it downfield. Bit of a lack of composure now from Leeds United.
He was under pressure there. I'll give him that one. He's as clear as line. He's just obviously shell-shocked. He's conceding those goals, and now what we don't want, Palace don't just want to sit in and wait. They want to just keep doing what they're doing, keep moving the football around, because they've been exceptional when they've grown in confidence and played in the right way in this second half. I'm sure that's what Roy Hodgson said. Do you know what? We've got different players. Let's be a little bit more progressive. Let's go and play. Let's set the tone, and that's what they've done.
They certainly have. 75 years old, returning, and at the moment it's 2 wins from 2 from Roy Hodgson, unless Leeds United can get back into this, and you wouldn't put it past them. They have the quality, but they could have been out of sight in the first half. Schlupp to the byline now. This could get worse for Leeds. It's Edouard closed down. Leeds United getting enough bodies back in the way to prevent Palace from scoring a 4th. Eze twisting and turning, put out of play on this near side by Junior Firpo. Let's head back to Augusta. John Murray.
Well, things have tightened up significantly now here on this final day of the Masters. When play resumed today, there was a 4-shot gap between Brooks Koepka and Jon Rahm, but Koepka dropped a shot here at the famous par 3 12th Golden Bell. Rahm made his par 3, so it is now Koepka 12 under, Rahm 11 under. They're currently on the par 5 13th, and Rahm has just missed a chance to take a share of the lead. He's missed his birdie, and so Koepka still leads by 1, and the rest headed by the players on 6 under. Sam Bennett, the amateur, Victor Hovland, the Norwegian, and Patrick Cantley, who's finished his 3rd round on 6 under par for the tournament.
Thank you very much, John. Comprehensive coverage of a gripping final day at the Masters on 5 Sports Extra. We have a stoppage in play here. Junior Firpo down.
Yeah, Joel Ward just comes across, and a slight elbow into Firpo's face. He stayed down. The camera's just panning in on Joel Ward.
He was on a booking.
Yeah, he is on a booking. I'm not sure there's... It'll be interesting to see the reaction on that, won't it?
Well, you can't use VAR for a yellow card, so he might count himself lucky there. The only thing that could be is a straight red, but I'm not sure it is being checked. But changes coming for Leeds United. It looks like Christensen and Rodrigo are getting ready to come on. This does look concerning for Junior Firpo there. He's on the turf, on his front, and he hasn't moved. He's being seen to by the Leeds United physios and doctors.
It's just sort of across the side of his face, at a chin area, isn't it? He's getting a bit of treatment, but it will be an uncomfortable one, that's for sure, as we're going to see some substitutions, and we're looking for a reaction. It could be 3 of them, in fact.
Yeah, it looks like a triple substitution from Javi Gracia. They've suddenly seen their... Well, they were leading 3-1 down in the blink of an eye. Haven't really known what's hit them. So Sinisterra off. Started the first half very well. He's off for Rodrigo, Leeds United's top scorer. And then we have Brendan Aronson coming off for Willie Gnonto. He's certainly a dangerous player on his day for Leeds United. Has been suffering with an injury. Picked up on international duty while with Italy. And Junior Firpo, who thankfully is up and okay to take his place in the dugout. He's been withdrawn for Christensen. So Michael Brown, do we think fairly like-for-like changes, or perhaps a change of system?
Right, I just think it's getting 2 at the top of the pitch. Rodrigo going alongside Bamford. Aronson was obviously in that 10. Christensen just coming in at the left-back position, where Firpo obviously just took that knock, and Gnonto wide on the left-hand side. So I think it's a very attacking move from the manager. That's what he's going to have to expect. He's going to have to do it quickly, but still there's a long way to go. Not to be, too advantageous too early, because he could be punished with this Palace side.
And they have been. 2 excellent goals in the second half, but a good ball over the top, and Luke Ayling's in behind here. Manages to get the cross in from the byline over on the far side. Well defended by Gay. The thing is, though, Michael, Palace now, they don't really have to do much in terms of attacking wise, although obviously that clearly is their strength at the moment.
I just think it's such a long way to go, that if you sit in against this side with that energy that they've got, they're just going to keep coming and coming and coming. I feel, keep doing similar to what you were doing. What's just got you in this position?
Mark Gay comes out with the ball in the battle with Patrick Bamford, and the tackles continue to fly. Out to play for a throw to Crystal Palace. Point you towards the Football Focus interview with Willie Nonto, where he reveals that he's only just got his provisional licence. His dad still drives him to training. Love to see it.
Amazing.
I'd say stay with that for as long as possible, to be honest. Have a chauffeur.
No, you've got to drive for me straight away. It's one thing I wanted to do.
McKennie under a bit of pressure from Edouard, manages to work it back to Illan Meslier. And we'll see just how it works between Rodrigo and Patrick Bamford, those two up top. It looks like Bamford is going to be the furthest forward, with Rodrigo dropping in. That's a decent ball again over the top, over to the far side. It's Jack Harrison now. Works the ball in to the penalty area, low. And again, it's a fairly regulation clearance from Mark Gay. Schlupp tries to make progress, but he's stopped in his tracks, and Leeds United now with all the possession. Sliding in, Jordan Ayew though wins it. Edouard over the top for Schlupp, and it's Illan Meslier who gets his head to it on the edge of his own penalty area. The flag has gone up though.
It's interesting there, a few tackles again. You hear these supporters trying to get behind Leeds United. So they didn't win those tackles, and the counter-attack was on, but the assistant referee, the flag was up.
As you mentioned though, Leeds United, of course, they have to throw caution to the wind to get back into this, but that means gaps opening up. And some of these Palace players are absolutely frightening on the break. Nonto can't quite take it under his spell. Another big switch from right to left. Throw into Palace. This near side should be taken by Joel Ward.
They're going to open it up, aren't they? They're going to go for diagonals. Nonto trying to get 1v1. Harrison as well, so they could deliver for the two front players. Rodrigo Bamford, midfield area. And Palace can get hold of it. There is an extra one in there.
Anderson clears, out of play. They did take a little deflection off it. It is Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 3. A blitz in the second half from Palace after they'd drawn level late on in the first half. Goals from Ayew and Eze in the second half have put them in control of this game. Ayew over the top looking for Ebere Eze on this near side, picked up by Robin Koch, and he slips it through towards Nonto. Fancies a run at the Palace defence, finds Weston McKennie in support on this near touchline, but he can't get the return ball back to Nonto. Palace win it back with Cheick Doucouré. And now Joel Ward on this near side, the right back. Edouard slips it through for Elise. Lovely play, and the nutmeg from Eze. But the through ball towards Edouard, wasn't expecting that, and Jordan Ayew was screaming for it on the left-hand side.
It's a great little nutmeg, isn't it? Do you know, it is a joy when Palace are on song and they're playing with this confidence, getting to good positions and being able to do things like that, but the end product wasn't there.
A slightly awkward clearance there from Joachim Andersen. Back in by Ayling towards Bamford, who controlled it on the chest. Last-ditch defending from Palace. They're being forced into it. And Mark Gay gets it away over to the far side. And Jordan Ayew. And now Odsonne Edouard. He's got two for company. Not too much in the way of support. He's still got hold of it, though. Left side the penalty area. Finds Elise. Tried to play it back to Odsonne Edouard. And it's cleared upfield. Here's Doucouré. Back to Mark Gay. Is this what Leeds will want, Michael Brown, this sort of energy of this game?
Well, they've got to open it up for sure. They've got to, wherever possible, get in behind, get the wide players in those positions. But Palace just seem to be enjoying that type of challenge, waiting for that to happen, and then when they've got the ball, they've been good.
Let's nip back to Augusta and the final day of the Masters Cat Downs.
Yeah, where Brooks Koepka's lead is now stretched to 2, his advantage increasing because Jon Rahm has bogeyed the 13th, the easiest hole on the course at the moment, so he slips to 10 under par, 2 behind Brooks Koepka. This has been cat and mouse as they're finishing the closing stages of their 3rd round, with the final round to come later on today from about 7 p.m. UK time.
Thank you, Kat. Full coverage of that on 5 Sports Extra, available right now. Here we are on Premier League Sunday, the first of 2 games. Crystal Palace leading by 3-1 here at Ellen Road against Leeds United. Liverpool against Arsenal to come at Anfield, and in a few minutes' time we'll head to Anfield for the team news for that massive game, particularly for Arsenal. Crystal Palace in possession with the goalkeeper Sam Johnston, who's urging his team up, doesn't want to play it short, doesn't want to put his team under any sort of pressure.
Just delaying it, isn't he, wherever he possibly can. He's putting it all out to one side. It's a little bit of percentage, not rolling it. And straight away, Leeds want to go and do that press. They've got to go big. Just a little flick on.
Still a quarter of the game to go. Gay sends it forward. Defended by Robin Koch, who got his head to it. The big diagonal once again, that's a tactic they're trying to employ. Joel Ward gets his head to it and then takes a tumble. Owen Doucouré has put his defence under pressure here, and Joachim Andersen doesn't take any chances, smashes it out of play. It's a throw-in right down by the corner flag on this near side for Leeds United. Willie Gnonto takes it to Christensen. Looked like a suspicion of handball there, but Simon Hooper has given the throw in Leeds United's way. Christensen on his near side to Mark Roker, turns away from the challenge and left-footed, swings it in towards the back post, and Jack Harrison tries to play it towards the penalty spot. Leeds United still have it. Lovely intricate play, Patrick Bamford. Well, he was challenged, and then perhaps a handball in there by Tyreek Mitchell. Eventually Crystal Palace clear their lines.
Well, they're asking for a penalty, saying as it touched Mitchell as he just goes to the last gasp tackle as Bamford just tries to get in. It's a little reverse pass. It's quite clever, really. Rodrigo just trying to see the replay back, and there is a little bit of hand, but I'm not sure he knew anything about it.
Crystal Palace can break here. Oh, it's a 4-on-2. Michael Elise, can he make the right pass? It's Odsonne Edouard. It's 4-1. It's all over, surely. An electric counter-attack. And as Leeds United push forward, they were caught out. It's a 4th for Palace. With 20 minutes to go, they're cruising to victory here at Ellen Road, having gone behind. Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 4.
What about this for a finish? Odsonne Edouard just gets down that left-hand side. I mean, Leeds United were pushing. I said they had to be careful not to leave, you know, the amount of numbers. Palace will counter, but it was a 4v2. The ball just goes out to the left-hand side as he pushes it towards the penalty area. He hits a wonderful strike, left-footed, right across the goalkeeper, into the far corner. Top finish. But Leeds United, far too much space for this Palace side. 4v2 at this level cannot happen in later stages in the games.
4-1. Under Patrick Vieira, Palace was struggling to score goals. And when Roy Hodgson was brought in, there were those who were saying, well, is he the man to solve that problem? Evidently, yes.
I don't want to say anything. They're just frightened to even say it. Is he? It looks that way for certain. Is it job done for Crystal Palace? But this Premier League, obviously, what's it going to throw at us with the relegation? Big teams in the mix, and people getting results, and look like Leeds United at one point we're going to go on and cruise this game, but full credit to Crystal Palace. This second half, breathtaking they've been.
What has been the difference in this second half?
They've took the ball. That's what they've done. They've took the ball. They've played in good areas. They've been brave enough rather than just clipping it, being safe. They've done it with pace. They've done it with tempo on the half terms, little give and goes, forward runs. Just as Leeds United there were asking for that handball, but they countered quickly, and Leeds United just a little bit naive, that's for certain, in the wrong areas.
Well, they had to go forward. They had to. They had a 2-goal disadvantage to make up, but they were just way too open there. And Michael Elise, well, he had so many options. He picked the right one because Edouard finished, and that is a hat-trick of assists for Michael Elise. Can Leeds United strike back? Ayling with the centre, away by Joachim Andersen.
What about his position? Anderson's position was wonderful. Oh, and Rodriguez smashed the ball away. If the referee sees that, maybe a certain card as he just slows it down, and it was a foul in the middle of the pitch. But again, got in, didn't they? Luke Ayling, fantastic down the right hand side. It was clever. Bamford just dropped back into the penalty area, ready for that sort of reverse pass. He's going to come in, strike it. Anderson read it straight away, got into position, and that's the difference, that quality, that understanding that he had. And they're calling for the medics here, or a stretcher. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, this doesn't look particularly good for Odsonne Edouard, scorer of the 4th Crystal Palace goal. Will Hughes is getting some instructions from Roy Hodgson as he gets ready to come on. How big a setback is this for Leeds?
I actually thought, when he went through there, Edward, I thought, he's ran out of it, the 4v2. The pass wasn't in front of him enough. But actually, when he takes that touch, I'm thinking, what's he going to do? Is he going to take him on? He just unleashes a wonderful strike with great quality. And I'm just seeing that substitution now. There'll be no rush to make that. At the front of the pitch, Will Hughes just coming on, and what a time to come on when the scoreline's like this.
4-1 to Crystal Palace here, as Odsonne Edouard limps off. We'll have to see if he can continue. No, he can't, because his number's up. Will Hughes is going to replace him. Let's get team news from our next big game on Premier League Sunday. Senior football reporter Ian Dennis is at Anfield.
Well, the leaders make one change, Robin. That's Saka for Trossard. He was ill against Leeds last weekend. As for Jurgen Klopp, he makes 5 changes from the side that played against Chelsea. Alexander-Arnold and Robertson come in for Gomez and Tsimikas at fullback. There's a change in the centre of defence as Virgil van Dijk replaces Matip. Gakpo and Salah replace Firmino and Nunez.
Full match commentary on Premier League Sunday, 4:30 kickoff at Anfield. Ian Dennis wisely choosing not to touch the "This is Anfield" sign, being escorted off the premises. Here's Eze, drop of the shoulder to the byline once again, trying to pull it back. It's been a pattern of the game. They've tried to do that numerous times to really good effect, Crystal Palace.
What about the difference there, though? Do you know, Bamford's going tight, guy just going all the way up and saying, go on then, I'll go tight with you. And that's the difference on the front foot, being able to be brave enough. Yeah, you can do that when the scoreline's like this, but that's my point of, you do it a little bit earlier, you get your rewards.
The next stop for Palace, away to Southampton, then they have Everton at home, Wolves away and West Ham United at home. It's a kind run. I mean, knowing in this Premier League season they could finish well in the top half. Mark Gay defends a long ball down the middle very well. Patrick Bamford making the run. Those changes, that triple change for Leeds United hasn't had the impact that Javi Gracia desired.
They showed intent when they did it, though, didn't they? Big diagonal passes straight away, trying to get extra people forward, and I did fear for it straight away. When you do that, just be careful, you don't leave the spaces. But full credit to Palace when they've done it. They were clinical in their finishing, in their quality at the right time in this game.
And that's exactly...
Leeds were clearly ahead, weren't they? First half, you say, what they've done, how they performed, how they set up, what they give, chances created. But it just goes down to that set piece right on half-time, changes the whole outcome.
Oh, I collected it well, and Meslier went down and got a good hand to it. Elise hugging this near touchline. Challenge, and it's going to be a throw-in on this near side, but Palace still creating chances.
Yeah, down the sides, another big chance. Centre half's going tight. Meslier comes out, good strong left hand. It's almost another goal for Palace, and it's worrying now the amount of space that they get in.
Quarter of an hour remaining. Leeds 1, Crystal Palace 4. Leeds took the lead to Patrick Bamford in the first half. They missed chances from set-piece situations, from open play. Mark Gay's late equaliser in the first half has turned the tide significantly in Crystal Palace's favour. Leeds continue to probe and don't have the precision on the pass. Will Hughes this time cutting it out and trying to play in Jordan Ayew. It's a mistake from Weston McKennie. Ayew evades the challenge and plays in Michael Elise on this near side. Away from Christensen, he's been unplayable at times. Elise still going, gets the cross in, away by Ayling. Picked up by Tyreek Mitchell, and now over on the far side, the left with Ebery Eze, who has got his 5th Premier League goal of the season. Mitchell back to Eze. Too easy. Eze into the penalty area, plays it back for Hughes. And then Ayew. And the flag has stayed down. And Ayew, very muted celebrations from him, but he's made it 5-1 to Crystal Palace. Leeds at 6s and 7s. It's a huge result for the Eagles.
It's a bizarre goal, isn't it? They've worked it really well. Elise down the right comes across, and then it's Eze's turn, and as he comes to the edge of the area, Will Hughes tries to get his shot away. It's sort of blocked, and then everyone just sort of waits, and it just trickles, and it looks like he's just onside. And Ayew's just stood there thinking, really? I'm stood, nobody near me, right in the penalty spot. They can just sweep it in the net, but it's poor defending as you've leaved it in. Everyone on the line. Yes, it's slightly fortunate how it falls to him. Meslier dives to his feet, and he just chops it, reverses it, and strokes it past the goalkeeper. Incredible scoreline here.
It was Christensen, wasn't it? Standing, waiting.
They're still checking it, they're just having a look, and you can see the lines on the pitch now. It's taken a long period of time from when the ball comes forward. But when you see on the one we've got, looks like it is onside.
Well, the fact that he barely celebrated maybe tells us that he's not quite sure, Jordan.
Well, he must have thought he had that much space. He's got to be in an offside position because he can't see the one on the left, and that's why he just thought, I've just stroked it in, but every chance I'm way offside in a position that I'm in. But they're taking a long time on this, and they're still standing waiting for this decision. He's got his hand on his ear. There's still no decision. This is a long time as we see the line come across. Just looking to see how the ricochet comes across, I'm thinking, from the tackle with Hughes.
Goal stands. 5-1 it is to Crystal Palace. And Leeds have totally fallen apart here. As you mentioned, Michael, it was Will Hughes who had the shot initially blocked. It trickled to Jordan Ayew, who was in acres of space, no white shirt within 3 yards of him, and all he had to do was lift it past Illan Meslier. So more changes coming, a triple, a double substitution here for Crystal Palace. The game is won for sure. Oh, here's a triple substitution. Luka Milivojevic, Jean-Philippe Mateta and James MacArthur, the players to come on. Leeds, I mean, a defeat is a defeat, but one that is so heavy as this, how much could this affect things?
It's very poor when you're in this type of relegation fight. You're expected to win this, to go and get beat with this margin, and that's very concerning. But again, you've got to look at the positives. In the first half they were excellent, second half they've not turned up. Well, full credit we've got to give it as well to Crystal Palace. They've been amazing in this second half. They've done everything correct. They've been clinical, great desire, but great quality on the ball. When they're in tight situations, those 1-on-1s have really stepped up.
Mateta, who scored the winner against Leicester City last weekend, might have felt it was slightly harsh to remain on the bench, but that decision, and pretty much every single one made by Roy Hodgson and his coaching team, has been vindicated today. What an afternoon. It will be Roy Hodgson's first Premier League win at Ellen Road as a coach, and it's going to be one to remember. 10 minutes remaining. here at Ellen Road. Leeds still plugging away. You've got to, of course. But, well, going to take something historic to get back into this one.
I mean, we could see anything happen at the end of this game now. The amount of substitutions we've just seen, the breakaways. Leeds United won't say, do you know what? At times when you're in this position, and they could have maybe done it earlier, sort of said, right, we can't have a really, really poor scoreline at this stage of the season, but they haven't done that. They've just said, we'll carry on, we'll keep going, and we could end up with a really poor score.
Jorginho Ruta, who has come on for Leeds United, is down. He looked hopefully at Simon Hooper. It was inside the penalty area. Simon Hooper is he basically told him to get up immediately. Didn't look too much in that. And the check is complete, no penalty for Leeds United. Let's head to the Women's Super League. Dave Woods.
Leeds Rhinos 0, York 6, so it's not really a cheery city at the moment, is it? And York's England recallees in harness. Hooker Sinead Peach with a measured grubber kick into the in goal, and Tamsin Renouf dropped on it to score for York Valkyrie. It's Leeds Women 0, York Valkyrie 6.
Thank you very much, Dave. We'll need to go in search, Michael Brown, maybe of some team in Leeds that are winning today, because it sounds like a miserable afternoon so far.
Yeah, there'll be depression all around the city, because this was the one, obviously, the results of late that you feel like they get a result here. This could have been the one keeping you away from that relegation battle. Is it going to be the one that almost keeping you safe? But we've seen Palace obviously make a triple substitution as well, and you can see at this stage now, Hodgkinson can say, well, you know what, we'll give a few a rest and we'll just see this game out.
But this is the crazy thing about this season, as you were saying earlier, Michael, like one win and we all immediately say, well, they're out of it, and they're right back in it again.
Yeah, back in it. And you know from the Palace perspective, is this the win that takes them away from it? Some return, isn't it, from Roy Hodgson? He can take off Slup, Ayew, Decore, as you said, Mateta just comes on. He obviously got the winner and the rewards last week, didn't get minutes on the pitch, but he can get them all on now. So for the squad to be playing those minutes, it's actually vital going into the last few games that everyone feels part of it.
Huge games coming up for Leeds, at home to Liverpool, away to Fulham, and then at home to Leicester City and away to Bournemouth. So still a chance, still matchups against those other teams that are in and around it.
This is a long way to go. We've seen that with the results. Just look at Bournemouth, the results they're getting, and I just keep saying to you, it's an amazing ending to this Premier League season, that anything could happen, and the big teams that are down there, you'd never have said at the start of the season, would you? West Ham, Leicester City, Everton, etc. It's fascinating.
It is. It seems like you don't really have to even put a string of wins together. It's just who is in the bottom three when the music stops on the final day of the season. 5-1 to Crystal Palace. A scoreline that I'm sure very few would have predicted, even those who have made the long trip from South London to Yorkshire today. And they have been putting their hands up in a high five just to remind the home supporters by how many goals that they've put past Leeds United today. 6 minutes to go. Make sure you do stay with us here on 5 Live. Full commentary of Liverpool against Arsenal in the Premier League. And on 5 Extra we have full coverage of the final day of the Masters. Here's Christensen on this near side for Leeds United. Crystal Palace energised, still putting in their foot, getting into the tackles. It's picked up by Nonto, tries to play in Christensen. It's Ruta on the edge of the penalty area, turns into Luka Milivojevic, and here's Michael Elise to poke it out of play. 5-1, Crystal Palace lead.
You've seen Joel Ward there under a bit of pressure. He's thinking, I'm not going to make that challenge, I'm going to stay right out of the way, and I think it's going to be him who's going to be coming off. And you've got to just realise not to make a challenge, don't give the referee any opportunity. You're on that yellow card.
Yep, Nathaniel Klein getting ready to come on. Ward prevents the big switch from reaching Wilfred Nonto on this near side. And Joel Ward completes the clearance up towards Mateta. Strout gets there, and it's kept in play by Christensen. Here's Robin Koch over the halfway line. Lovely ball between the lines for Rodrigo, but again, the ball towards Ruta this time, easily cut out And Palace have an outball with Ebery Eze. He's got past two. Looked like he was pulled back by Weston McKennie, and that's going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, it's an easy one. What about the turn of pace there? Electric right through the middle, and he's that substitution we were talking about, but it's just been far too comfortable once Palace have got the lead. And it was sort of like they've sort of just been let loose, haven't they, Palace? And sort of gone, oh, we've been waiting for such a long time to play our football like this, to get a lead, to be able to showboat and enjoy your football. That's what they must have had in this second half, and you see them moving it around now. But full credit to them, they did it when the scoreline wasn't this, and that's what got them there.
Again, it's just not something you associate with Roy Hodgson, rightly or wrongly. Elise again making his way towards the penalty area. Still going, Michael Elise! Well, he deserved a goal. He's been brilliant all game, but he cut back onto his right foot and he smashed it over the bar.
It was ridiculous, wasn't it? What a move. He's been brilliant second half, because as I said in the first half, not seen him. Where is he? But he's leaving people for dead. You can't go near him. And as he gets into the box, it's a late chop, which I thought he was going to bend it with his left foot. Late chop into his right to get his shot away. And he just puts it over the bar. That would have been some ending, and he deserved a goal.
A mercurial winger, Michael Elise, has had one of his best games in a Palace shirt, his second season.
I'm going to give him his best, a good half. That's what I'm going to give him. First half it was quiet, but an exceptional second.
I will temper my assessment.
Here he is again now. I might have to convince me if he scores, we can say game.
Lays it off to Will Hughes and continues his run. Here's MacArthur, and now Mark Gay. And the Olays are coming out now, and there's quite a few empty seats at Ellen Road. You can see the blue of the seats in the home stands. Crystal Palace very much enjoying their time here in Yorkshire and stroking the ball around with confidence. Tyreek Mitchell onto Eze. Again, he's just been a delight to watch today. He glides across the turf. Here's Will Hughes, and now Nathaniel Klein. We will leave Crystal Palace's supporters with the Olays and join Dave Woods at Headingley.
Well, the Leeds women's supporters are allaying now. 6-6. Leeds hooker Kira Bennett with an outrageous dummy from dummy half and dived in from close range. Sam Hughes has added the conversion. 11 minutes played. Leeds women 6, York Valkyrie 6.
There you go, some respite for those Leeds sports supporters. Here it is a miserable day for the men's team in the Premier League. 2 minutes remaining of normal time. Leeds 1, Crystal Palace 5. And that was all after Leeds took the lead. That seems like a very, very long time ago now.
It's amazing, isn't it? This football that we all go and watch and love. It brings surprises like this, because nobody's seen this coming, as you said, from Crystal Palace especially. Could Leeds maybe have scored 5, possibly, you know, and you're looking and thinking what type of performance. But again, you know, that mentality still here, where they do concede and still go for it at times, where they should leave it a little bit more solid.
Here's Christensen, cuts back on his right foot and plays the cross into Rod's Ruter. It's going to ricochet into the path of Sam Johnston. As you mentioned, though, Michael, I mean, when you look back on some of the goals conceded, it's painful viewing, surely, for some Leeds supporters.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, that IU one where it just falls from literally on the penalty spot, I think that just tells you everything about the game. But just looking at what Leeds have got to come, Liverpool home, and that's the one, isn't it? Another huge game here at Ellen Road, where generally you feel like they will get results, and it's just tightened right up.
Here's Mateta, left side the penalty area. Green boots, back to Tyreek Mitchell. Eze, back heel to Milivojevic, pulling out the flicks and the tricks now as the clock ticks over to 90 minutes. The ball's gone up for 4 minutes of added time. Let's head back to the Masters. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Norway's Victor Hovland burning up the back nine. He has just birdied the par 5 15. 5 birdies in the row now for the Norwegian on the back nine, trying to turn it into a 3-horse race. Third round of the Masters. Koepka 12 under, Rahm 10 under, Hovland now 8 under. Full
coverage of the final day of the Masters, where they've had to squeeze in near enough 2 rounds on 5 Sports Extra. On 5 Live, be joining the final round at 8 o'clock tonight from Augusta with our team there. A yellow card for Rasmus Christensen and a free kick for Crystal Palace on this near side. The heavy defeat at home for Leeds United. And yeah, I think we'll go back to, obviously, watch the goals tonight on Match of the Day 2. That Jordan Ayew goal, the second one, where everyone just stopped. I think that's going to be described as a proper five-a-side type goal, like the one Julio Enciso scored for Brighton in midweek. I'm not sure if you saw that. Just time stood still and he picked his spot. Very similar to that one. The play has stopped here. Leeds player down.
Yeah, Nonto just got caught slightly. Palace in no rush to take this, to see out the last few seconds, stay right out of the way. They could have got a couple more, couldn't they, towards the end, but again, super second half of football, and Leeds United back to thinking, what do they do next, how do they improve, what do they have to do, and just as they're thinking they were maybe going to get away from that relegation battle, it doesn't happen.
Liverpool against Arsenal to come, live from Anfield on Premier League Sunday. Jean-Philippe Mateta turns away from the challenge, but Luke Ayling does well to stick with him. Leeds, though, struggle to clear. Mitchell, he's overcooked the cross, but it's going to be picked up on this near side by Nathaniel Klein. Pressure still coming here for Palace. MacArthur, now back to Joachim Andersen. Tomorrow, round the grounds, all the 3 o'clock games in the EFL with Aaron Paul, and then the Monday Night Club returns from 7 o'clock with Kelly Cates, Chris Sutton, Rory Smith and Sebastian Bassong to debate all the weekend's football. Here is Joachim Andersen for Crystal Palace as the clock ticks over to 1 minute left of stoppage time. The frustration boiling over. Nonto with a strong challenge on MacArthur. Just the free kick given by Simon Hooper, and play restarts with Crystal Palace. Well, that first half was absolutely no indication of what we were expecting in the second.
It just tells you the stadium, doesn't it? It's emptied. With a result like this, they can't watch anymore. The supporters generally stay and obviously sing right till the end, but with a scoreline like this, they're obviously left and so disappointed. But from a Palace perspective, what a turnaround from the new gaffer.
Eze's mazy run towards the penalty area is stopped. Nonto dispossessed by Michael Elise. Player stopped, and there's a Leeds player down over on the far side as well now. 10 seconds remaining. Simon Hooper will soon put an end to the home side's misery. Looks like Weston McKennie, a bit of discomfort here.
He's right next to the side of the pitch. I mean, he's just delaying the inevitable. I don't know why he doesn't just try and roll off slightly and carry on with, like you said, 10 seconds to go. As soon as the restart's off, the game's done. Players are all waiting now, sort of, if you just on the knees, and as a player, when this has happened to you, you're just waiting for that whistle to get inside and wait for the next game.
I thought you guys don't roll off the pitch, do you? That's not in your locker, it's rolling on. I know you're saying he's delaying the inevitable.
Well, you're losing at this scoreline with 10 seconds to go. You're on the side of the pitch. Yeah, you're hurt. Unless it's really, really bad, don't get me wrong. If you need stretching off, then you can't do that for sure. But it's just really frustrating end to this game from a Leeds perspective all around the stadium. And from a Palace one, they have got to be absolutely delighted with that performance, with the result. And knowing Roy Hodgson, he'd have come here and took a 1-0, he'd have took anything whatsoever you'd have given him. But to do it like this, the confidence in the place, what a week to go training for Crystal Palace.
The lovely moment there, Roy Hodgson just taking it all in and turning around to the away supporters and giving them a clap. You know, some were sceptical about his return, but with days like this, you can see why the decision was made. Boos from those who remain at Ellen Road. A humongous win, not just in the scoreline, but in the context of the season for Crystal Palace. got to remember they came from behind. Once again, more points collected from losing positions. Leeds United took the lead thanks to Patrick Bamford's header. They struck back on the stroke of half-time, Crystal Palace. The second half belonged to the away side. Incredible display, clinical. Goals from Ayew, 2 of them, Eze and Edouard. A magnificent win for Palace, a potentially damaging one for Leeds United, Michael Brown.
Yeah, very damaging. This is a game that they felt like they could go on and win and get some daylight between that relegation zone. They started excellently first half, good performance, but then took the chances away when they had them. And from a Palace perspective, once they got that sort of set-piece goal, the second half, they came out full of confidence, played with great flair, great determination, some top qualities, counter-attacking, great finishing, a little bit of everything. Leeds absolutely shell-shocked with this result.
Another incredible result in this fight against relegation at the bottom of the table. Full time at Ellen Road. Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 5.
And Crystal Palace go 6 points clear of the relegation zone with that victory. Michael Brown, 13 games without a win before Roy Hodgson arrived. He changed that in his first match, and now he's just racked up their biggest victory of any sort for over 2 years. What an impact.
How does he do it? Because you just look at it like you're going, really, is he the man to do it? And, just to come in and change everything. He's quite a safe manager in structure. And to go and win with this amount of opportunities, this amount of flair, get 5 goals. I mean, actually as well going behind and then stayed really, really solid. It was a top performance. We've seen some wonderful wing play, some showboat and Elise down the right-hand side, and that second half was a joy to watch, twisting in and out, and then they just looked cultured. The centre-back started to go tight, and it was a great performance all around. Proper team performance from it looked like a Roy Hodgson organised setup.
He's in front of the crowd now, Robin, isn't he? Just getting the applause.
You just love to see it, don't you? 75 years old, back out of retirement. He just can't stay away. A club that he has huge connections with, of course, being a Croydon boy. And it's kind of heartwarming to see. I know a lot of Leeds fans won't agree because of the scoreline, but it's fantastic. They didn't change it because they just needed a new manager bounce. This is something more significant, you feel. This is something deeper. And maybe, he's not going to be in charge at the beginning of next season. But the important thing is, at the beginning of next season, they're going to be in the Premier League. I've no doubt about that under Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, there are 2 really interesting points to pick up on there, actually, Michael. Firstly, I mean, who knows? He has got the bug. David Moyes was talking about it after the win yesterday. He said football is a very difficult thing to put away. If he carries on like this, I mean, if I was Roy Hodgson, I'd be thinking, well, I'm certainly not past it.
Well, that's for sure, isn't it? If you're people upstairs as well, you'd be looking and saying, well, do we give it another go? Do we extend this run of, obviously, managerial career of Roy Hodgson? And to get this turnaround, to get this bounce, it was all about getting over the line, and he wants to give back to the football club that's also been so kind to him. So listen, full credit to the staff and also the players. I think they were really impressive under pressure, going behind, they stuck at the task, and a top performance. And it seems to be a really quick turnaround, and now, as Robin said, it would be hard to bet against Crystal Palace getting relegated with that return of points. So listen, it'd be some story, wouldn't it, if he was going on and staying and continue this journey. But as regards to what he's going to say straight away is just the fact that he's got his job to do, he's got some more games to win, he's got to keep professional. But a wonderful day for Crystal Palace.
I mean, they might need 1 more, maybe 2 more wins at the absolute most. They've got Southampton and Everton. They're going to be fine, Michael. But what about Leeds?
Stop it. Stop saying they're going to be fine.
They will be fine.
Honestly, I've said Bournemouth were struggling. It's looking a bit silly at the moment after those results.
Yeah, well,
but
33 points.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised if you need more than 36, 37. But what about Leeds? Because they're showing no signs of getting close to it at the minute. I know they've been going well under Javi Gracia, but this is a huge defeat.
It's a huge defeat, but if you look at those 10 points from 18 before this game, a wonderful first half performance. They just didn't get the ball in the net for the second, for the third time with the chance they had. They were really dynamic. They played well, Steve, and just the second half skilled them. But if they perform like they did in the first half, they're going to be okay. It's going to be tight for sure. Some tough games in the run-in, and you're looking when they've got Leicester at home, mad game that could be. But the atmosphere was incredible at the start. It wilted as expected. The supporters left early, which you don't often see that at Ellen Road, but it's, they've got certainly something to think about after this sort of damning second half. The 5 goals really is worrying.
Michael, Robin, thank you very much indeed. Robin Cowan, Michael Brown, inside Ellen Road, where Crystal Palace have won by 5 goals to 1, so they're 12th in the league, 6 from the relegation zone, and also there are 5 teams now in between them and the bottom 3. Leeds have only got Everton below them outside the relegation zone, and they are just 2 points above Nottingham Forest.